Now at 5, 3 troubling attacks, 2 of them stranger on stranger, 1 of them still unsolved. Luckily, that one was caught on camera. Plus,
we can come in or out until we have either landed, we have crashed, or we have boarded. Those are the only 3 outcomes from now on.
50 years ago today, man walked on the moon. Tonight, from inside Mission Control, legendary NASA flight director Gene Kranz relives the heart-stopping moments of Apollo 11. And later, love going to the Olympic trials in Eugene with tickets for next year about to go on sale. We've learned it'll cost you more than usual. The news at 5 starts now. All right, everybody, we're going to start with those frightening attacks. One caught on camera yesterday in Northeast Portland, and we're showing you this video mainly because this attack is still unsolved. The victim says he was confronting that guy in blue you see on camera, who said he was trying to use an electrical outlet. Fast forward to tonight, that victim has 5 staples in his head, and we should warn you, some of the video and details in this story are jarring. Here's KGW's Brittany Falkers.
That confrontation started right here when a man was seemingly trying to steal electricity from one of these outdoor outlets. And it was caught on video from these security cameras installed just months ago.
Ned told me that I had been hit that many times. I did not remember then either. That's quite a thing seeing it.
Sean Mitsakis and his girlfriend Sky Kelt are still piecing together what happened just outside their doorstep Friday.
He spits and he comes straight for the one for here.
Mitsakis is recovering with 5 staples in his head and multiple scrapes on his shoulder and legs.
I am incredibly emotionally shaken. I mean, we are in a little war zone here, and it's very tough for us to go outside, especially after it's dark.
It happened here at his home near Northeast 60th Avenue and Holiday Street. Mitsakis says the man seen in this security video was trying to use his neighbor's electrical outlet. It's an ongoing problem that's forced them to disable the electrical flow to the outside.
But of course they still come and they plug in their phones and then act like they're charging them in order to use our entryways as a shelter to do heroin.
He's confronted people over the issue before, but this time things took a violent turn.
He took a swing, hit me in the face right there. And then we struggled and wrestled into the middle of the street. And
you can see the man on top of Mitsakis, hitting him multiple times. He says it happened so fast, he's not sure if the man used a weapon.
I had felt something warm, and I put my hand back there, and then my hand was covered with blood.
Mitsakis says he fought back, but the man got away.
It's been a hectic couple days.
His girlfriend says she lost her voice shouting for someone to call police.
Call the police! Terrible, scared. And annoyed and pissed off. There's a lot of emotions all at once.
That man has not yet been found, but Mitsakis and Kelt hope by sharing their story, he'll be identified and brought to justice soon.
I'm hoping that his picture getting on the news makes him get found.
In Northeast Portland, Brittany Falkers, KGW News.
And we should note we reached out to Portland police about that incident, but we haven't yet heard back. If you have any info on the man in that video, give them a call. That said, we do have an arrest to report on a crazy hammer attack in Gresham. You heard me right, a hammer attack. Police there say this one was also random, but they say it was completely unprovoked. The victim's wife, who you just saw there, says he was getting coffee at a 7-Eleven yesterday morning when a stranger came out of nowhere and hit him over the head with a hammer.
It was a pretty strong impact. It just cracked open his forehead. It's the bone is all broken up, so they had to put stitches and screws and plates to close it up.
Detectives arrested this man, 39-year-old Jonathan Jones. Records show he's been violent before. In 2011, Jones was accused and convicted of attacking a man outside a Portland Walmart, also with a hammer. In a jailhouse interview after that attack, Jones told KGW he was high on meth and hearing voices in his head. And finally, attack number 3. This one happened on a TriMet bus. This is the guy deputies have arrested. They say one passenger, they say this man, attacked another with a tire iron. It was early this morning in Aloha, and deputies arrested Michael Henry Jr. The victim is in the hospital. They do note this one was not random. The two knew each other. All right, let's shift gears. Summer is heating up, and unfortunately, we have to talk wildfires. We're actually watching this one in southeast Washington right now. It's right at this point about 42,000 acres, aka more than 65 square miles. It's got a name, the Cold Creek Fire, and it's burning near the Tri-Cities. The good news, no evacuation so far, and crews say they're making progress. The frustrating news, we are told that one is human-caused. And staying in Washington, several beaches along Puget Sound remain closed after 3 million gallons of untreated sewage leaked in. State officials say pumping systems at 2 of King County's largest sewage treatment plants failed, and they say it stemmed from power outages. The sewage poured into Puget Sound for almost half an hour. On that disgusting note, let's look outside. Here in Oregon, the beaches, thankfully, are clean and they're open. You're looking at Cannon Beach. Obviously now people have been flocking to Haystack Rock all day. It's the perfect day for it. And here in Portland, it's actually now the warmest day of summer so far. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri outside soaking up the sun. Joe, I'm stuck here in the AC. How does that feel?
It feels nice out here. It is warm. We saw temperatures topping out in the mid to the upper 80s throughout much of the metro area and up and down the I-5 corridor, but I start to see a light breeze. So if you have any plans to be out and about tonight, checking out beautiful downtown Portland, you are going to be seeing some pleasant conditions. Enjoy it because we're going to be going from somewhat pleasant tonight to downright hot heading into tomorrow. As we look at the weather headlines, like you just said, we did it. The warmest day so far this summer. We clocked in at 86 degrees. There's a chance we can see our temperature jump up another degree or two over the next couple of hours. And tomorrow, highs jump up to the upper 80s to low 90s. If that's too hot for you, we'll stay warm for Monday, but expect to see cooler conditions heading the early part of next week. And here's a look at some of the readings we've seen over in Astoria. You looked at temperatures in the low 70s this afternoon. East side of the state, relatively pleasant in the mid to the upper 80s. And over in Rome, a temperature of 90 degrees. Walk out there right now. We're looking at anywhere in the mid to the upper 80s throughout much of the metro area. Sure, you're flirting with that 90-degree mark, and along the coast, starting to cool off a little bit with temperatures in the upper 60s to the low 70s. And heading out in the next couple of hours, we'll stay in the mid to the upper 80s here the next few hours, but heading the later part of tonight, let's say right around 8, 9 o'clock, we'll still be seeing temperatures in the mid to the upper 70s. I'll talk more about the heat that's going to be arriving tomorrow afternoon in your detailed forecast in just minutes away. Maggie, back to you.
All right, Joe, sounds good. Thank you.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
There it is. Neil Armstrong said those historic words exactly 50 years ago, becoming the first man to walk on the moon. Today, Buzz Aldrin, Vice President Mike Pence, and hundreds of others gathered at the Kennedy Space Center to mark the anniversary. And while we celebrate the astronauts, we're also remembering all the work that was done on the ground to get them to the moon. Marcelino Benito from our sister station in Houston spoke with NASA legend, Flight Director Gene Kranz.
Okay, people, listen up.
He's a living American legend, immortalized in Hollywood film.
I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
This room here has been home.
From inside Mission Control, former NASA flight director Gene Kranz helped land American men on the moon. 50 years after the historic Apollo 11 landing, Kranz is back in the room where humanity's greatest feat unfolded.
When I walk into the room, I don't have to relive it. As soon as I walk into this room, this seems crazy, but I hear things.
Kranz was already a rising star at NASA when he heard President John F. Kennedy challenge the nation.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
It was a great time for America, and Kennedy's speech, I think, ignited the fire. Let's go do it.
Next stop for them, the moon.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Kranz watched Apollo 11 blast off into space.
Now you're accelerating down there, and you can almost feel it. I believe 100% that we're going to be successful. We're going to land that crew on the moon.
You're looking good.
4 days later, on July 20th,
we are all arrived here early dawn.
Kranz and his team of controllers walked into Mission Control with a lunar landing within reach.
Nobody can come in or out until we have either landed, we have crashed, or we have boarded. Those are the only three outcomes from now on. And it's now between me and my team and the crew on the spacecraft. They are the only people that exist in the universe.
For the next few hours, the Apollo 11 astronauts faced daunting challenges. Mission Control worked each problem.
It was a battle. We had problems with communication, we had problems with navigation, computer program alarms, etc.
Every solution got them closer to the surface of the moon.
We're going to make this the first manned lunar landing.
More forward, drift into the right a little. Houston, the Eagle has landed.
With just 47 seconds of fuel left in the tank.
And we're getting a picture on the TV.
What?
Okay, we're going to be busy for a minute.
But the people in the viewing room recognized we landed, and they're stamping and clawing and they're stomping their feet.
The world celebrated, but Kranz and his crew still had work to do.
Okay, T1, stay, no, stay. Retro, stay. Fido, stay. Guidance, stay.
We celebrated 2 hours after the landing.
Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. The surface appears to be very fine-grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder.
Finally looked up and could see the moon up there. You could see the thing up there and say, hey, we just landed in the moon. That's pretty cool.
The success of Apollo 11 was way more than cool. It remains the defining moment in human history.
People started believing in themselves and what they can do.
Now at 85 years old, Kranz still finds himself captivated by the moon and its mystery. This NASA giant believes the moon is still calling.
To me, it's out there. And it basically says, I'm still here. Come and get me.